Welcome to this Planning Commission. The date is Monday, February 13th. Will everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated. Thank you very much. The first item of tonight's agenda is actual approval of the agenda. Are there any changes that anyone would like to make? If not, I will entertain a motion.
Move for approval.
Second.
Say aye.
Aye.
Moving on would be the approval of the minutes for the January 23rd, 2012 meeting. Does anyone have any changes that they'd like to make or any additions for that matter? No? Okay, if not, I'll entertain a motion.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
One abstention here.
And also another abstention here.
So, Julie, did you get all those? Okay. The next up for a public hearing is called the Meadows on Riley Creek. The location of the project is 9845 Sky Lane. This is actually continued from the January 9th, 2012 meeting. The request is for a zoning district change from rural to R1-13.5 on 5.03 acres and a preliminary plat on 5.03 acres into 12 lots and one outlot. Now, they have asked at this time that the meeting be continued to the March 12th, 2012 meeting. Commissioners, you should have that on your letter of transmittal. Does anyone have any questions with that? Mr. Franson from City Staff, do you have anything to add from that?
Only that we did send out a notice of this continuance to all the property owners that were within 500 feet of the project. I can tell you that the joint project that was for the Renfer and the driver piece won't be ready to go for the March 12th meeting. That'll probably be later on that month. So we'll send out another letter to the residents when we think that project will be ready to go.
Okay, so I do see a note here that says, please advise the audience that the new public hearing notices will not be mailed, but now because of the changes, we will be mailing out.
We're going to mail out a notice just before the March 12th meeting that the proposed new project is not ready to go.
Okay.
We can keep them informed.
Very good. Thank you very much. With that being said, if anyone else doesn't have any questions, I will move to continuance.
Mr. Chairman, move to recommend continuance to the March 12th, 2012 meeting.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you very much. Moving on to the next public hearing. It is titled Eden Prairie Office Retail. This one's continued from the January 23rd, 2012. The location is 14675 and 14711 Martin Drive. The request is for a planned unit development concept review on 3.84 acres, a planned unit development district review with waivers on 3.84 acres, a zoning district amendment with a I-2 zoning district on 3.84 acres, a site plan review on 3.84 acres, and a preliminary plat on 3.84 acres into one lot. With that being said, will the proponent of the project please come forward? State your name, spell your last name for city record, and your address, and tell us a little bit about the project, please.
I'm Bob Groot Bossink, and I live at 15382 Masons Point in Eden Prairie.
Can you spell your last name, please?
GROOTWASSINK.
Thank you very much. Tell us a little bit about your project, please. Thank you.
I'm sorry?
Please continue on with a little bit about your project.
Well, we're buying the Bake Mart warehouse, and I want to convert it to Appliance Mart as my major tenant. And then there's 6,000 feet of office. I plan to move into half of that for the second floor, 3,000 feet. The lower level, it's basically for rent. And then down the road, I would like to build an additional building when I get a tenant for it. And basically, and then there's this there's a big freezer building. There's like 5,000 square foot of a freezer, which is at 28 feet up. I'm planning on taking that down and demoing it, give more visibility and more sight to the property.
Okay. Thank you very much. If we have any questions, we'll come back to you. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Mr. Franson, will you please take us through the staff report and also highlight two things, if I remember right from the last meeting. A was talking about putting retail into a warehouse district, which if I remember right, everyone for the most part was okay with. And the other part, we were talking about signage, if I remember.
That's correct.
So if you can hit those two and take us through the staff report, that would be great.
The primary change in the staff report has to do with the proposed building. We had just kind of a general discussion about whether or not the commission was comfortable with that building changing from all industrial use to 100% retail. And for the commissioners that were present, they were comfortable with that, so we highlighted that on one of the conditions in the staff report on page 3 when we talk about the PUD waivers. The second waiver on the sign was moving it from the elevation on Martin Drive to the southeast elevation, so you could see the sign if you were traveling westbound on Highway 5. The staff didn't have a problem with this because it wasn't a larger sign. We were just moving another sign to another location. We didn't think that with that sign plus their normal pylon sign out front was going to contribute to sign clutter along Highway 5, so we were comfortable with that request for the sign. So the staff recommendation is for approval according to the recommendations, which are, I guess they're on page 3 of the staff report.
Okay, thank you very much. Before we go out to the audience, commissioners, do you have anything that you would like to add or any comments at all? Everyone's comfortable with what's been discussed tonight thus far?
Yep.
Okay, is there anyone out in the audience that has any comments or concerns? If so, now would be the time. Okay, I am not seeing any. So with that being said, I will entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, move to close the public hearing.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Mr. Chairman, move to recommend approval of the plan unit development concept review on 3.84 acres, plan unit development district review with waivers on 3.84 acres, zoning district amendment within the I-2 zoning district on 3.84 acres, site plan review of 3.84 acres and preliminary plat of 3.84 acres into one lot based on plan stamp dated January 18th, 2012, and the staff report dated February 10th, 2012.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passed. Congratulations with your project. You move forward. The last item of public hearing for night is Juris Edition, which is 2012-02. The location of the project is 12790 Plaza Drive. The request is for a planned unit development concept review on 14.16 acres, a planned unit development district review with waivers on 14.16 acres, a zoning district amendment with a C-Reg-Sur district on 14.16 acres, and a preliminary plat on 14.6 acres into two lots and road right-of-way. With that being said, with the proponent of the project, please come forward. State your name for city record. Spell your last name, please, for us. And tell us a little bit about your project.
My name is Jim Rock. My address is 4359 Bentry Lane, Eagan, Minnesota. I represent the owner of the property. I'm a real estate broker. The project is to basically do a lot split on the existing Eden Prairie Ford.
Okay.
And that's about it.
Do you have any more details for us at this time?
Not really.
Okay. Thank you very much. If we have any questions, we'll let you know. Mr. Franz, will you take us through the staff report, please?
The staff is recommending approval according to the conditions on page 2 of the staff report. Just a little bit more than that to add. Tom Grossman, who's the developer and owner of the new Ford building on the suburban Chevrolet site, wants to purchase the back 4+ acres for continued use of car storage. The front lot, the 9+ acres, it's approved for a car dealership. It's zoned commercial. We haven't had any inquiries about whether or not it's going to be used for something else other than what it's currently being used for at this point. There are a couple of waivers that are in here. The parking setback is based upon an existing condition. They just built the parking too close to the property line. And the waivers for the wetland structure setback and the wetland buffer width are because when this project was first approved, we didn't have wetland regulations. So now we're applying those regulations after the fact. There's a couple areas where it's a little bit close, and so that represents an existing condition.
Okay. Anything else?
Nothing else, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, go ahead. Yeah, Jake, go ahead.
Just a quick question, can the back lot exist on its own, or just a parking lot?
Yes, it can. That was approved for car, actually, what happened was that the Ford dealership was built on the front 9 acres. Then, a few years later, they amended that to add acreage in the back for car storage. And so that's been previously approved by the city council for use for car dealership.
But right, that's when it was all one lot, but on its own, can you have,
Yes.
I remember going through a discussion, remember when we were like, you can't have like a swimming pool without a house?
Right.
I don't know if the same would apply here.
Well, we have a development agreement that runs with the property that allows them to store cars out on the property.
Okay. Okay, thanks.
Commissioners, does anybody else have any questions at all? It's kind of cut and dry.
Straightforward to me.
Okay.
Existing conditions.
All right. If not, I will entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, move to close the public hearing.
Second.
With motion second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Mr. Chairman, move to recommend approval of the plan unit development concept review on 14.16 acres, plan unit development district review with waivers on 14.16 acres, zoning district amendment within the I-2 zoning district on 14.16 acres, and the preliminary plat of 14.16 acres into 2 lots based on plan stamp dated January 27, 2012, and the staff report dated February 10th, 2012.
Second.
Here, motion second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, congratulations. You can move forward with the project. Thank you very much. Moving on, Mr. Franz, any planning reports for tonight at all?
2 things. We have 2 public hearings scheduled for February 27th. One is a New Horizon daycare located next to Fire Station Number 4, which is off of Linwood Court and Dell Road. And we have a public hearing for Site B of Hennepin Village. This is a 51-unit plan by Toll Brothers for the property. The original plan that some of you had looked at, I think it started in 2007, and that was 100-plus units at this point. So they're looking at a little bit different market, a little bit larger lots, a little bit different price point.
So that daycare, that's not an existing building, right? That's building on that.
It's building on the 1 acre or so.
That's available right there in front, kind of? Got it. Okay, good.
And the Hennepin Village, is that the one off Eden Prairie Road there? I mean,
Yes.
that's that segment off Eden Prairie
It's the
Road.
last remaining part of
Okay.
Hennepin Village that hasn't been built.
So 51 units. Interesting.
Okay, anything else, Mr. Franzen?
Second thing, when you're finished, we need to take your picture for the annual report, and Julie has volunteered to take the camera with her years of experience in photography and such matters, and we're all going to cluster out in the hallway over by the atrium when we're done with the meeting.
Very good. Thank you very much. Are there any members' reports for this evening at all? Not seeing any. Any continuing business?
Mr. Chair, I've got a question, probably
Yes,
for
please.
staff. Has there been any conversation down the pipeline on the LRT corridor? Any further conferencing, intercity conferencing, and communications with that? I know several of us went to conferences and consortiums last year.
I can tell you that we're going to be starting the PE process. We should know probably within the next 30 days which consultant's being chosen by the Met Council. And they're going to establish a project office, which we think is going to be in St. Louis Park. And once that team is together, then they're going to be working with all of the cities along the line to determine exactly where the line's going to be, how many stations they're going to be, how much parking they're going to be. And within a year from probably March, they want to get to a point where there's municipal consent, meaning our city council has to approve the line and the plans that go along with the stations and the parking. And then after that standpoint, then they get into the final engineering of how they're actually going to build all the construction details and things that you'd have to do in order to know how to build the light rail line and the platforms and the stations themselves.
Now, what if, Mr. Franson, what if the city council doesn't like what's being put out there at that point? Do we have jurisdiction to be able to, I'm sure we can voice our concern, but do we have ultimate authority of what goes on in our city, or how does that work?
I think we have, we've had a lot of input into the process so far by what alignment we've chosen. It's in our comprehensive plan.
Right.
We identify the station sites. The current alignment and the stations are all identified in the draft environmental impact statement. And so there's been enough thought put into it at this point. It's probably reasonably close to what we think it'll end up with. So we will probably know in the next 30 to 60 days or so what the current direction is from the project office, so that we can keep not only our council informed, but the commission informed, and all of the property owners that are up and down the line, what direction we're heading.
Okay. Within 30, 60 days, is that what you said?
That's probably when they're going to start actively into the process, probably around middle of May. And then probably within a couple of months after that, they'll be far enough along that they've looked at the line. And you're always going to look at the things that are going to be the most cost-effective things you need to do in order to stay within the budget that they've identified for construction, and to stay within the timeline of delivering the entire next segment of the line by 2017, early 2018.
Okay.
So this is kind of the exciting part of it. You're getting out of kind of the early talk stages into something you can actually say, you know, this looks real, these are on the plans. Now you can see how it impacts properties, and then you can use that information to make your best informed decisions about whether or not this is the alignment that the council is going to be most comfortable with in terms of municipal consent.
Right. Okay.
Quick question for you, Mr. Franzen. On behalf of myself and maybe the rest of the commission, but who is the main contact here at city staff who, if we have questions going forward regarding LRT, is there an individual that we can contact, or should we just contact you?
It would be fine if you contacted me.
Okay.
We have a light rail technical implementation committee, which is basically myself and other engineering staff.
Okay.
Then we have a policy committee, which is made up of department directors and the city manager. So things that we would see of a technical nature that we feel that the policy group has to make a decision on, we pass it up to them. And then if they feel it needs to go on to the city council, they keep the council informed about that. So it may be, I may get back to you with the answer to the question. I may have someone else that has better information for that. After the project office is up, there may be people within the project office that we might be directing questions to.
Okay. Great.
Okay.
Thanks.
Anything else for continuing business? New business at all? Okay. If not, I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Meeting is closed. Thank you very much.